Masisondele, Ilano Tolo, Helele.
Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. You can say it once or 100 times or more. You feel a peace inside and it'll open every door. That's the power. It's the best way to purify your heart. Know you will be merciful. We have the power of remembering Allah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar. So much you can gain just by saying those few words. You can renew your faith and be showered in reward. It's the best way to purify your heart. I know you will love and merciful. We have the power for remembering Allah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, wallahu akbar.
Masisondele,
Masisondele kuwala.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to School Matters. Yes, with me, Sumaya Khan. Alhamdulillah, few weeks left for the end of term 4, school year of 2024. Well, gosh, this year has come and gone so quick. I can remember sitting here in studio this very same time thinking that 2024, gosh, is like a long way to go. But 2024 is over, almost over. Our grade 12 learners write their last paper on the 28th. Yes, that's tomorrow, I think. Yeah. I think the day before. Yeah, the 28th, tomorrow is the 27th. Even though this part of year is anticipated, many suffer from burnout. Yes, all my colleagues, educators are mentally drained, which takes a toll on your health. This is a time when everyone is letting their hair down, rounding up the year, but the poor educator is also still quite stressed. Yes, today's our topic is on educator burnout, teacher burnout. Well, educator burnout is, a state of chronic exhaustion that occurs when an educator is unable to perform their job responsibilities due to prolonged stress. Well, it can manifest as, fatigue, tiredness, frustration, lack of motivation, and decreased job performance. Well, as they say, a teacher is also human at the end of the day. Burnout can impact on, educators' ability to teach and can lead to anxiety and depression. It can occur, in all occupations, in all professions, but particularly prevalent among teachers, due to many factors. Well, the demanding nature of the role, just being an educator, lack of funding and support, especially when it comes to the government sector. Teachers often holding themselves accountable for the success of their learners and many other factors. Teachers, I know right now our grade 12 or matric teachers are stressing. They are practically got their fingers crossed. I hope my learners, my grade 12 class of 2024 performs well. Even being a principal is quite stressful, especially in a high school, when you go to pick up that big brown envelope and you're going to see what was the percentage and what did your school achieve and did they achieve the pass rate. Teacher burnout is growing. It's a growing problem in schools today. It's across, I wouldn't say only across our country, but it's across all countries globally. The expectations of teachers is at an all-time high. They're expected to adapt to a wide range of teaching, learning styles, accommodating special needs, the barriers of learning when everyone is put into mainstream. Planning curriculum, that's, planning your teaching according to the CAPS document. That's what we do here in SA. Well, dealing with the helicopter parent. Yes, helicopter parent, the parent who's phlegmatic, the parent who keeps on changing, their child is this and their child is not that, challenging the educator. And not forgetting the glitches in the system, especially when it comes to technology, with always, I think this affects every government department in SA when they tell you we are down, systems are down. Well, no educator can, no educator support. Yes, we're always complaining about this. We need support. Educators need support, not only level 1 educators, but also managers need support. All different stakeholders need direction and support. And, something which is quite prevalent in today's time, it's lack of empathy and chronic stress due to, uh, unrelating or workplace demands. How do we keep up? How do we cope? End of the day, again, we are just human. The National Education Association defines educator-teacher burnout as a condition which an educator has exhausted the personal and professional resources necessary to do their job or to do the job. Well, it's not just about the ability to educate effectively or have your admin up to date, though. A lot of educators say we do more admin than teaching. Teacher burnout can have, long-term physical and emotional repercussions. So it's important to recognize the signs and, the symptoms of this all too common conditions to protect your mental and physical health. Well, are you considering quitting teaching? If so, you're not alone. When you look at stats in SA, we have lots of educators, especially teachers in the first 5 years, leaving the profession, either taking on a different profession or going into corporate or even leaving the country. Teachers quit for many reasons, but due to stats, one of the main reasons why teachers leave is due to mental health and also a toxic teaching environment, and often filled with micromanaging and a little to do, with support. There's often a lack of support and both bullying and harassment in all different directions, from the parent, from colleague to colleague, from management to the local community, governing body. It's like a ripple effect. Everything has ripple effects on each other. How do educators protect the main important thing, our mental health? How do we protect our mental health while loving what we do, loving teaching? You meet educators all the time who tell you, I love what I do, but I love what I do, but I have to. I love what I do, but my health is so important. I love what I do, but my family. I love what I do, but I just can't do it. Well, this is the harsh reality. Well, our guest who we are linking up this evening, I don't think I need to introduce her, but School Matters have adopted her. She have always supported us for the last few years. Our guest is Sister, our educational psychologist, someone who has been involved in education for very, very long. If I'm not mistaken, you were a circuit manager in the Zululand district, and you are back now assisting everyone in education. Our guest in studio is Sister Melanie Dunge. Welcome to School Matters.
Good evening, Sumaya, and to the listeners. And
Yes.
thank you for inviting me.
A topic which is on the tip of every educator's tongue right now, whether you're a manager, whether you're a DOE official, whether you're anyone, even a teacher assistant. This part of the year is burnout for educators. And I know you have advice, you have experience, and you're going to tell us how to survive.
Mhm.
Yeah, burnout. You know, from your knowledge and from your counseling educators and being involved, what would you say are the main? I know I touched on some factors and some points, but what are the main reasons for teacher burnout in today's time?
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for the question, Sumaya. Firstly, I must say that teaching is a very fulfilling job, yet it is so teachers, they always find themselves overwhelmed at work, which then leads them to not performing their duties to the best of their ability. Maybe before I even mention the causes of burnout, let me just maybe just quote a few, like the definition first. As much as we have already defined burnout, but I would say on a layman's definition, burnout, it is when the teacher is overwhelmed at work and their stress is not managed. Then they feel they've reached the ceiling. And true psychological now, it is characterized by the feelings of emotional exhaustion, like you did mention earlier on, which then leads to reduced professional efficacy, meaning that there's going to be a change in the performance, even if the teacher has been performing very well, but there's going to be a change now because of the burnout.
Yeah.
And then the third one, it is mental distancing, whereby the teacher is going to be distancing themselves now. They're not going to be involving themselves with their friends and their colleagues. At times, it also impacts on their families as well, whereby they don't spend time with their families. So they no longer have the free time. Then it shows that they have burnout. And it is important for teachers to note the causes. What are the causes before we can even discuss the symptoms? But what are the causes of burnout? Maybe from the school side, because they are twofold. The causes are twofold. There's personal causes. There's also work-related causes. Maybe if I may start with the work-related causes, it will be mental health issues. So if a teacher has got mental health issues that are not dealt with, whereby the teacher hasn't received any therapeutic intervention, then the teacher is prone to have burnout. The second one would be the workload. You know, there's supposed to be a balance between the workload and the salary. And looking at the rate of inflation these days, you find that there are teachers that are leaving the system, just like you mentioned earlier on. And those teachers, they are not replaced. Maybe it takes 6 months, between 6 months and 12 months before they can be replaced. So one teacher then amongst the staff is supposed to take over. At times, you find that the teacher has to teach a subject that they are not confident on, yet they are expected to produce good results, regardless of the lack of knowledge with regard to that subject that they're teaching, lack of experience as well. And also the pressure of performing at a particular level. you did mention that grade 12 teachers, as we speak, they are having a burnout. Reason being, the department did state that everyone is expected to perform between 85% to 100%. Despite the fact that some of the schools or some of the teachers did not receive the relevant support, and they don't even have the necessary resources, in order for them to be able to perform to the best of their ability. A good example would be a teacher who's teaching a subject they are not confident on. If a teacher is, like we take social sciences, which is made up of history and geography, you find that the teacher is going to be biased to one side. So if the teacher is good in geography, they're going to be focusing on geography. So when they have to touch on history, they're going to neglect history. They're not going to give it their all. So each time they think of history, then there's that panic mode that they go into. So that's when then the burnout kicks on.
Yeah.
So another thing, it is planning. Schools, during this time, schools are supposed to be planning for next year. They're supposed to be having activities that they will be conducting next year. For instance, induction of newly appointed educators, and also the teachers at this time, they should be doing the handing over of learners from one grade to another grade teacher, so that the teacher is aware of who will be in their classes next year, so that they start planning now, because they know the challenges that the learners are experiencing. By the time the learners come next year, which is 2025, they are ready. So if there is no proper planning within the school, then teachers will be prone to burnout. Another thing, it will be feeling judged by management. You know, when you're being micromanaged, then teachers will then tend to have those maladaptive thoughts where they're thinking, it means I'm not good enough. You know, I don't have what it takes to teach this subject. And then that's where the problem starts. And I want to emphasize the fact that if a teacher has burnout, their learners, especially those that are teaching maths and science and languages, their learners will then tend to perform poorly. Because remember, learners, they tend to tap on the teacher's emotional side.
Yeah.
So that is where the frustration can come from. But then on the other side, then, as a teacher, you also have chores. You are the mother, you are a father, you are a brother, you are a sister. You have responsibilities towards your family. So juggling between these two chores, being a teacher and also being a brother or being a wife or being a partner, it also takes its toll on the educator. If the educator doesn't have support, both at home as well as at school. So also the demands that comes with the chores that we have mentioned, that I've mentioned already, whereby their expectation as a wife, as a father, as a partner, you know. So if those are not met, then the teacher will then have now. I'm sure I have tapped on the causes, just the causes, not yet the symptoms.
Do you know, while you're chatting to me, messages are coming through. I have a message which came through. Work stress is going the extra mile on too many occasions towards achieving excellence in a working class environment leads to burnout of educators. There are some educators over whom the principal and HOD plus senior teachers overuse to their advantage. These teachers don't know how to say no to work that should not be allocated to them, who carry the burden of doing work for others, resulting in trying to achieve too many deadlines, which leads to burnout. Well, I think this is also a valid point.
Yes, it is. I did mention that some of the teachers, you will find that their workload has been increased. And no one is thinking about the repercussion of that increase in the workload. Because as an individual, there's so much that you can take.
Exactly.
So for you to be able to perform to the best of your ability, you must have resources within yourself. And also you must have resources that you will be using, like the support from your management. If there is no support from management, then you are not going to be able to perform to the best of your ability.
Exactly.
We are going to be seeing a teacher who is underperforming. So not only is the educator affected, but also the learner, that I said earlier. So
Do you know our
I
next?
think management, they need to sit down and look at this, because most of the schools that are underperforming, it is because this workload thing is not taken into consideration, but also looking at the challenges that the educators are experiencing. You'll find that there are no platforms at the school level where teachers can be briefed about the challenges that they bring. As you speak now, most of the schools are going for, they will be buying, they're going out, enjoying themselves, traveling and all of that. But when you're looking at the activities, at their schedule, you won't find any debriefing sessions where they talk about the real issues and real problems that they experience at school. So they're gonna, when they do the brief, yes, it is good because it allows them to be free and also to forget about the challenges that they experience. But the debriefing part, where they're going to be sharing with other teachers who can also assist them to say, I did experience the same challenge, but this is how I overcame the challenge. So the debriefing session within the school, it is very much important as well. But also we do have our EAP program, which is the employee assistant program, whereby teachers also, they can support so that they are not overwhelmed. Because the problem with them, it is being overwhelmed, not knowing what to do when you have reached this stage. And then you find that you are at the chronic stage, because there are stages also when we talk of burnout. There are 5 stages that you undergo when you have a burnout.
Do you know,
so it is important that you also note those signs to say, oh, this is where I am now. And you start looking for support so that it doesn't exacerbate into depression. Because I must emphasize the point that burnout, when not treated, when you are not getting the relevant support or therapeutic support, it does exacerbate into depression also.
Do you know, there's a message that came through, and this is so it's such an important message, or something which I think all teachers in schools complain about, even management. Juggling today's educational work with the modern day stressful life. There is traveling. Many educators rush just like a normal mom or dad or a normal working person and travel very long to reach their destination, that is school. Not forgetting the roadworks, potholes, robots down, and traffic. This is a stress factor. When will Department of Education consider this for teachers to be at duty at 7 a.m.? Well, depending, I'll say between 7 to 8 a.m. This is such a valid point, which no one really looks into it, but that's so true.
It is true, and it does impact negatively. Like we're saying, some teachers, you find that by 5:30, they're already on the road. So by the time they reach work, they're tired already. And also they are also prone to accident on the way. So there's a lot that is happening. By the time they reach their workplace, already they kind of exhausted. So they're not going to be giving, the best of themselves because of the challenges. So I think what the department can do would be to, I don't know, but these days, no one wants to stay in cottages and stuff because of the challenges, that the robbery and everything, where teachers find themselves being robbed in the cottages and all of that.
Exactly.
But I think when the school is managed, when the school is functional, they can have those that to say, maybe looking at the teachers, the subjects that they teach, and also looking at the support that can be offered to those teachers also. Like you're saying, we're living in modern times. There must be a lot of, we're talking about 4IR, whereby teachers have to incorporate technology as well. And you find that some of the teachers, they're not even clued up when it comes to technology, which is something that could assist them in their classes, because most of the learners, they like technology. So they are stimulated by technology.
Do you know, there's another message that came through. This is a long message from an educator of almost 35 years. Burnout for teachers is not only the difficulty of trying to educate poorly behaved and unteachable spirits, but the real burnout is the way society dumps on teachers. Parents no longer discipline but spoil their children to the point that they are rude and disrespectful to the very people who are trying to mold them into worthy citizens and to capacitate them for a career. The government does not pay us enough for the trauma we experience, as if that is not enough. Posts are mandated, unfair shortlisting and interview process where, can buy posts rather than earn it with integrity. It leaves experienced teachers having to mentor their supervisors, principals appointed from level 1 to level 4 post, level 1 appointed to DOE post, yet we are surprised when schools have conflict issues and misappropriation of funds. To the honest and long-serving educators, we are more than burnt out. We are used and abused. Yes, we are cremated even before death, born free and taxed to death too. Well, this educator is also touching on something which leads to mental health and burnout of being an educator in today's time. The ending, what she says, we are cremated even before death. Yeah.
They also think the lack of parental involvement.
Yeah.
In a way. We also know that that's one of the causes of burnout. I remember earlier on when you introduced the topic, you spoke about the helicopter parenting. So it's twofold. Either the parent doesn't come to school when they are invited to discuss the challenges that their kids are experiencing at school, and it doesn't assist the teacher. Maybe the child has behavioral problems, and the teacher that they are vulnerable in class, and they're not going to be able to perform to the best of their ability when they do not feel confident, when they are scared to be in class. But we also, on the other side, we have parents that are helicopter parents. They are very much overprotective. They are almost everywhere in the school trying to overcompensate for all the challenges that they experienced when they were kids. They just want to bridge that gap or to fill the void that they had as kids. So that's another thing whereby parents also, because they have peer pressure from their friends, so they will then become helicopter parents. So then the teacher, both the teacher and the learner, they are not at liberty to work, freely. So even it is very detrimental even to the child as well. But parents are not even aware of that. They think that they are doing their level best in order to support their kids, not knowing that at a later stage, it will then haunt the kids because they are not going to be independent. They are always going to be dependent, so there's codependency of some kind. So I agree with the teacher that talks about the post and everything, but I think that one can be solved by the stakeholders within the education system, because it is true. We cannot deny that. It is true, it's happening, it's out there. But it also demoralizes those teachers who have been there, who have been doing their part, who are working to the best of their ability beyond the call of duty, when they do get those posts, when they know very well that they deserve, because they know their.
Well,
So
and
I agree.
yeah, and another, a message comes from Fatima Khan. Well, she writes over here, lovely topic. Love what the psychologist is saying. She's on point. I'm an educator of 15 years. We have no support from parents. Our management have tried their best, so have our educators to get parents involved. Schools are failing with discipline, especially in the government sector. I fear for my life at times when learners are mobbish and operate as gangs. These are
That's true.
15 and 17-year-old learners who scare us. What do we do? This is our job, our profession, which we love. But this is not good for our mental health, and many of us are quitting before retirement. Well, this is also this is so true.
It is very much true.
Hmm.
But I would say for both educators, the risk factors for both educators as well as learners, the history of depression, like if depression is genetic, so if it is there within the family, for both the learner will then be presenting with behavioral problems in class because it is not managed. And also with the teachers as well. Some of them, they are prone to burnout because they are also, exposing themselves to some substance use, trying to maybe to alleviate the problems and the challenges that they've experienced at work, not knowing that they are aggravating the challenge, the problem. Some of the teachers as well, they will have unresolved grief. Someone passes in our families and we think we are over, we were able to manage or to cope, but the truth is we did not face it. We just wanted to put it aside, but it's there at the back of our mind. So when one thing happens in class, then it triggers. So there will be a lot of triggers that will be there, but they are caused by these risk factors that I'm mentioning. So also, like we are talking about the change in jobs, maybe we have just been promoted to a new school. So there are expectations that comes with the promotion. The question is the support also there so that you are able to perform your duty? Remember, yes, you were good when the interviews were conducted, but presenting yourself in an interview and also performing, those are just two different things. You might present yourself very well in an interview, but when it comes to a job satisfaction, job performance, you must have support. First, you have a role also towards that, but also the management as well as parents and other school stakeholders, they have a role in ensuring that all the support is there so that teachers, they don't find themselves being overwhelmed. So some of the teachers, they're going through divorce, some separating from their partners and all of that, and you'll find that they don't deal with it. So some of us, when we have a challenge, we have this mentality of saying, I'm going to focus more on my job. I'm going to exert all my time on my job. Forgetting that when you focus your energy, all your energy into your job, neglecting other areas of your life, it's going to be, one thing will happen, then it will trigger everything. And then you find yourself not being able then to manage yourself or to perform as expected. So there is another challenge to say we need to look at ourselves. Are we, are we at the point where we are able to identify the symptoms that are there and the causes also? Have we, visited the doctor or referral so that we can attend the mental health practitioners as early as possible, or we waiting until the bomb exploded? Once there's been an explosion, it's going to take time before we go back to our normal self. So it is important to ensure that now and again we give ourselves free time. We allow for, there are a lot of things that maybe towards the end we can talk about how can we manage the burnout also. So number one is the research once you note all these challenges that we are noting, we are, make sure that you go to someone, talk to someone, even if it's not a professional therapist. But talking about, like I was talking about, sessions where teachers have, where they can have debriefing sessions that can assist to know that I have a place where I can go and I can just debrief and be able to just vent out and release all this negative energy so that I can then go back and perform my duties as expected.
Yeah. Another message has come through. Lovely topic. I like what the psychologist, Ms. Dunga, is saying, talking about debriefing sessions, being a principal. Mental health strain, chronic stress in a toxic environment can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. I have seen this with my teachers at my very school. What I've seen worked for me with my educators, which also led to productivity and positive outcomes, not only with the educator, but also my learners at the school, is taking the time to talk to my educators one-on-one in a personal capacity, understanding their situations, and also assisting them. This proved that even a teacher who did not want to help or did not want to work or perform at a school is now producing with me as a leader of the school, assisting them. I recommend all management members and principals try to work together with your educators, and you will see amazing results most of the time. Well, this advice comes from a principal in a school from, I think, what he has here, Ulundi. Well, that's good advice.
Yeah, if I may add, Sumaya, because I'm also from education.
Yeah.
There are structures that are there within the school, but those structures, they're not functional.
Yeah.
We have the educator support portfolio within the school-based support team. But you'll find that the only thing that they talk about, it will be the QMS, the scoring
QMS.
of the teacher. But it is not about that. It is about identifying areas of concern for educators so that the school can then come up with a plan of how to resolve that, how to organize workshops so that all those areas of concern that were identified by the teachers, then they are addressed. By doing so, we are then alleviating the percentage of burnout from the teacher, because they know that they are not all by themselves, but there are people that are there who are willing to assist them. So those structures are there, but they are not functional. Can we go back and ensure that we revive those structures?
Well, if we have any department officials or provincial DOE officials, well, there's a challenge for you. Let's revive those structures. Going back to mental health, over the years doing school matters, when I do research and when I have different guests, it's said that educators are one of the professions which are always complaining of a stiff neck, a spasm, a back pain, or a headache. And even, you're a psychologist, you're an educational psychologist, but also seeing a shrink, a psychiatrist, majority of their patients are educators. So what is going wrong, or what we are not doing right? Is that a cry for help?
Okay. Like I said earlier on, teaching is a very fulfilling job, but the main issue with teaching is that there is an emotional investment.
Yeah.
There is that interpersonal interaction between the educator and the child. So, which is why teachers are called local parents. They act in local parents. So teachers are like parents, but the problem is that when they are not aware of the challenges that they have, then they will then experience mental health issues. I did mention earlier on that when you have burnout, it does impact psychological, emotional, as well as physical. which is why you will develop ulcers as well.
Yeah.
Which is why you will develop migraine headaches, because you have this burnout that has not been attended. But also then there will be the psychological symptoms, where you are, then you start to be irritable, maybe a child say something or a co-worker will say that's a minor thing, and then you become irritable. The fatigue, the chronic and emotional exhaustion, that you worry, am I good enough? Am I doing fine? The sleep disturbance, most of the teachers that have they are not sleeping well. So they have what is called insomnia.
Yeah.
And then there will be detachment from friends and colleagues. I did mention this earlier on. I said the teacher can be able to detect, no. You know what? Now I've become and old, I've developed that indifferent attitude towards the job. Those are the that are there. So it is important that as an educator, you know to these signs, so that once you see that you now get irritated, easily, you are not sleeping well, you have lost concentration, and maybe you are no longer interested in things that you used to like before.
Yeah.
But now, even if someone talks about them, you are not even interested. So those are the signs that you have to look at, and then you go and look for support.
Do you know,
because mental health, like I said, burnout can exacerbate to depression.
Sister Melanie, it's their teacher burnout. What advice you got for a teacher, regardless whether they are management or whether they're just a teacher or whether they are a teacher assistant? What advice you got for us just to survive?
I would say it is important to create a balance between work and personal.
Yeah.
As much as we love our work, we want to get that 85% or 90% and 100%, but we must set boundaries. When you are at home at a particular time, forget about work, focus on yourself and your family, because they also need you as a mother, as a wife, all of that. But also improve on coping skills. Do you have coping skills? How do you cope? Do you take regular breaks, like going out with your friends to watch a movie or go to the park or go and listen to music? Maybe there are so many things that teachers can do in order to ensure that they deal with the bad story.
Do you know
so another thing that they can do, prioritize self-care. You only live once. That's what
exactly.
They say YOLO. You only live once.
And there's only
Take
one
care
of you.
of yourself, because you won't have another. You are the only male. So engage in stress management routine. There are breathing techniques that are there. You can Google. You learn those breathing techniques. You can join yoga. You can join the gym, because it does help in order to alleviate those stressors that lead to burnout.
Do you know, for 2025?
Proper planning, like I said earlier on.
For 2025, we need to look at doing a workshop, a seminar, School Matters next year. And I know everyone is generally going to benefit from this. There's always a saying going, regardless what profession you are, your job is replaceable. You are replaceable. If you are gone or left this earth, no one will miss you. Exactly. And no one will miss you as much as your husband, wife, partner, spouse, child, a parent, as no one's going to miss you. It's just them who are going to feel that loss. So we need to, as you say, balance everything. And there's no brownie points for giving 100% in your whole life into your profession. Well, time has just gone. Your parting words before we leave?
I would say it is important to take care of ourselves, like we live only once. Make sure that you have time where you can go up, revamp, so that you can come back revamped and rejuvenated. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. For you to be able to pour, for your learners to be able to access the support from you, for you to be able to teach to the best of your ability, you must be revamped, you must be rejuvenated, look after yourself, because this is the only life that God
Has given.
gave you. You will not have another. So it is important to take care of yourself,
Thank you
I would
so
say.
much.
And also,
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
No, I said thank you so much for linking up with us. Where are we linking up with you right now? From Johannesburg?
No, from Rustenburg.
Rustenburg. You're all the way in Rustenburg. Well, when you're coming back to KZN, we are definitely stealing you and bringing you to School Matters. Thank you so much for linking up with you. And you know what? May the Almighty bless you for imparting your knowledge and always giving us hope and being the silver lining in everyone's cloud, especially us educators. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sumaya, and to the listeners. I'm looking forward to that opportunity to come to Education Matters.
Okay. Yes, that was our guest sister, Melanie Dunga. She's an educational psychologist. She was also the circuit manager of Zululand, and she is back in KZN full swing. She has, assisted, presented at many of Radio Lansar School Matters program, seminars, and workshops. Well, the last one which she did was self-sabotage with the Mlazi district governance, where we assisted the girl child. I'd like to thank our technician, Mondli, for making this show possible. My email address is smayakhan.alansar@outlook.com. Listeners, learners, educators, mums, yes, sisters, grandmothers, 16 days of activism is for no violence against women and children. Yes, it started yesterday. This is in line with the theme 30 years of advancing collective action to end violence against women and children. Well, if you're an educator out there, all the best for rounding up your year. And if you're a parent, enjoy having your child with you. And if you're a learner, make the best of your holiday. Be kind, for every teacher you meet is fighting a burnout. And almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including yourself. We expect teachers to reach unattainable goals with inadequate resources. The miracle is this: they often do. Assalamu alaikum.
سبحان الله والحمد لله لا إله